Hi folks, my name is MJ Fitch, and if you found this, I appreciate you coming to my workshop. I am the instructor of the 2026 CBA Father's Day Festival Slap-Based Technique Workshop. Quite a mouthful. I am making this video in an attempt to cover anything that I hypothetically don't get to in the lesson, and also to provide a deep dive into close-ups of my hand as I do the slap stuff, and also to cover a couple techniques that I'm already doubting I'm going to have time to do in the lesson. Only got 75 minutes at the festival, so we'll see how much we can get to. I've got things ordered by priority of what you would play in a band. So I'm hoping during the lesson, I'm filming this actually about a week before I'm even going to be teaching the lesson, so here's to hoping that we cover as much as I want to. The first thing I want to teach you guys in the lesson, I'm hoping that we get to this, is just a double basic two feel with the slap back. So let's define some vocabulary first. Number one, two feel. 4 beats in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in 4/4 for like 90% of bluegrass. That 4 beats in a bar. If we're playing a two feel, we're playing the root and the fifth usually on the first and the third. A lot of numbers. If you're not a number person, we're playing the boom, 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 that thing. So if I'm in G, and let's just say I'm playing basic like Blue Ridge Cavanaugh. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside when I wandered when I was a lad. Little fancy stuff there, but I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the basic two feel. What I'm going to be covering first is the two feel with the slap back. So playing basically the boom and the chuck, the boom and the mandolin chop. So think of it like a drum set. We're playing and da. Because of that, we're essentially filling out the sound of the chop. Sometimes in the band you'll have the banjo and the mandolin and the dobro all chopping. Having multiple people chopping is fine as long as you're all really locked in. If you can lock in with the chop, you're good. The main thing for this one is just making sure you're locked in with the chop. So if I'm playing just a root fifth and G, not even any chord changes, just G the entire time, I'm going to play away, I'm going to slap it, get my 3 fingers, my 2 fingers underneath the string, your choice, 3 or 2, under the string, and go pull out and slap it back. Let me get a close up of that for you. I'm getting my 3 fingers. I switch between 3 and 2 at will. I'm going under the string. In this case, I go from the side a little bit, not all the way under. You're not gripping it like that. Under the string, I just go pull away and back. I'm using steel strings right now, so there's a little bit of a weird overtone metallic thing. I usually use gut strings, but steel strings are louder, and I'm playing unamplified most of the time lately. So for that, that's your single slap. That's just one chunk, and you can play without ever having to slap the board back. However, only time I really use that is when I'm trying to be loud. If it's like if I've got a crowd of 15 banjos and I need to be heard and fill up a room, that's what I'm going to do. But that's not really slapping the bass, really. So what I'm doing in that two feel is I'm taking that and I'm going and playing the mandolin part too. Funny little ending there, but basically I'm just playing the mandolin chop along with the slap. I'm being a little exaggerated right now to try to make it really clear. The main thing is, number one, it's not just the wrist. It's the entire arm. If you're isolating the wrist, the elbow, or the shoulder, you're either going to wear yourself out in 30 seconds or you're going to hurt yourself eventually. The big thing to do is make it flow. I always joke it's like you're doing the wave. Whole arm's going. If I'm doing the crazy fast stuff, when I do the crazy fast stuff, I got to be smooth or else it just becomes just a mess. So essentially, covering the two feel, we're playing our regular root fifth, and we're doing it with the slap. So if I start from the bottom, normal, single slap, double slap, that is the entire thing. So breaking down some of the fundamentals, this is the part I'm planning on talking about first thing in the workshop, so you're probably have already heard this before in person. Let's just double check. I'm also realizing you haven't been able to see my face for the last 5 minutes. I apologize. I hope that I get this up on YouTube and has subtitles. That'd be nice. Either way, we've got that. So talking about this, all the fundamental stuff, all the physicalities of playing slap bass is the stuff I want to cover first in the workshop. So this is mostly just going to be a review, I hope. The next thing we're going to add after this is we're going to add what I either call it a train beat or a country shuffle, depending on how fast it is. And that's where we get the idea of the double slap. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So when we add the triplet in, or in this case, it's not really a triplet, it's a shuffle. Da, dick, da, dick, da, dick, da. We're essentially playing like we would like swing. Da, dick, da, dick, da. And with that, we're playing. And we're playing all the notes in that shuffle. 1, da, 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 and it's 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and it swings. A lot of bluegrass swings. People don't realize how much bluegrass swings. It's not straight. If it's all straight, it sounds mechanical. That's how you can kind of tell, like, a lot of like really great banjo players are always swinging. There's always triplet. There's always there's always the triplet. So we're trying to match that triplet. As the bass player, if we hold that rhythm section together, if we match the soloist and we make them sound really good, we're doing our job really well. Most of the bass is making other people sound good. There's so many other bass. There's the most bass workshops I've ever seen in one place at Father's Day Festival. There's 4 of them. There's mine and 3 others. I have a feeling every single bass player at every single workshop is going to be told that. Most of playing the bass in bluegrass is making that guy sound good, and you get to be the center of attention for like 5% of the time. On that note, we're going to cover the 5% of the time in a minute. That's the part. That's the fun part. That's the hard part. That's the fun part. That's what I get in trouble for, but I love doing. Essentially, we've got our slap back with the double. 1, 2, double. And now we have the triple. And this is where it gets really important. I'm going to get close to the camera again so you can see my hand. For the triplet, we're pulling out. I'm using 3 fingers again. Palm. Not fingers, palm. If you do fingers, it gets very floppy. If you do palm, you can roll into it. It's like you're stirring a pot of soup. Imagine that I have a big ladle right here and I'm stirring a pot of soup. That's the movement. Full arm. So, thinking about that, I pull out, I load back with my palm, and then I pull across my fingers. And wherever my fingers land, if I'm playing this string, that G, open G, and I want to go to the 5th, the open D, for the next note in the... If I want to go to that open D, I need to land my fingers right there on that D string. So then the next thing I can do is... This is the thing, I call that the load back, where you're... Whenever you jump back in, you load the fingers back in. It's got to be set for the next move. It's a lot of very fine motor skills mixed with very gross motor skills. It's kind of a weird combination. Because like, that's less than an inch of difference right there between each string. Especially if I'm playing like really fast, that less than an inch of difference is tiny. I need to get really precise. But on the same time, I'm using my entire upper body, my entire arm to get that. So that covers the 2 feel with the slap back, doing the mandolin part 2, and the train shuffle. It doesn't sound like a train shuffle when you do. But when I get a little faster, when I teach people that, I go, I hear the train coming, it's rolling around the bend. It's that Johnny Cash kind of Marshall Lytle, who was Johnny Cash's bass player. He made that sound popular. Also think of like Bill Black with Elvis Presley. That's kind of that rockabilly, early rockabilly, older country sound. right? When country became rock and roll. That's the sound. And when you hear that, imagine, like Flatt and Scruggs are doing that at the same time that Elvis and Johnny Cash are. They're in the same world. Flatt and Scruggs follow pop country, though. Bill Monroe follows pop country. Pop country back then is rockabilly. Not like nowadays. No synths, no EDM. But pop country back then is rockabilly music. That's what pop country was. So they follow that. That's when you get stuff like Foggy Mountain Special. That's when you get stuff like Shuckin' the Corn. These tunes that are basically a blues. They're made to follow blues, R&B, and rockabilly. That's when you use those feels. And bluegrass songs that are more that style. That are more country, that are more swingy. And you don't really use that in a traditional bluegrass feel. So if I'm doing like, if I've got a mandolin player who's just straight up chopping, only on the 2 and the 4, only on the backbeat, I'm not going to try to shuffle it at all. I don't play any bands with mandolin players like that. I don't run into that problem except when I'm at jams. However, if you are, don't get in their way. Their job is to handle the chop, not you. You're there to support the chop. If you do the chop at all, which is optional, you don't ever have to. If you do it at all, it needs to be in support of the mandolin player, not against them or on top of them. All that to say, basically we've got our 2 feel and our triplet feel with the train beat. The next thing I want to cover is what's called a flat tire shuffle. It's again kind of in that rockabilly, blues, R&B tradition. And that's actually outside of the 2 feel. So this is when we get to the other idea. If you're playing upright bass, you're probably playing one of 2 things, a 2 feel or a walking beat. On a 2 feel, we're playing 2 notes per bar. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In a walking feel, I'm playing all 4 notes in the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So with all that together, we got our 2 different feels. We've only ever really covered the 2 feel. I'm not sure if we're going to get to a walking feel at all during the actual workshop. So I'm going to go more deep on this part, be a little more focused and streamlined. So with the flat tire shuffle, we're always walking. Whether it's I'm playing a 2 feel and I'm just going to walk quarter notes up to the next change, you can do a flat tire shuffle there. Or if you're walking for like an entire chorus or an entire chord change, like maybe I'm playing, I don't know, maybe I'm playing like a really traditional Flatt and Scruggs tune and I want to go and then go up to the 4 and then walk and then go back to 2. If I want to walk that, I can do the slap the whole time. Normal backbeat and then flat tire. And that's the first time I've really shown you how the flat tire sounds. So let's go back and review that. Flat tire shuffle is you're swinging everything. You're playing all 8 notes. The quarter notes are, the on beats are slap. The off beats where it swings are the actual come back and hit playing the snare part. It's If I slow it down, it gets really dramatic. It's jumping in. It's overswung. The faster you go, the less overswung it is because you physically can't get it. And that's the thing is with the swing, it's dependent on tempo. But in this case, if we're playing a really fast tune and I do a flat tire shuffle to walk, it's generally going to be a little less swung. If I play a slow tune, I do a flat tire shuffle. Like if I'm playing on a country tune and then I get to the verse and I want to walk something, it's going to be really swung. It's going to really jump in and be think of like a drummer playing a blues shuffle. That's your big flat tire shuffle. So flat tire shuffle is the same thing as the 2 feel beat. It's just faster and swung. So it's the same movement. It's away once and back once. But instead of starting with the away and coming back, I start with the back and then I pull out. Let me get a little more precise. My hands are sweaty. So I go in and then back out. And when I start walking, we'll do like a really slow walk, just G pentatonic. with that, I'm doing kada, kada, kada. I come in on the offbeat. I go, and my one is pulling off. So really, that's the biggest thing with the flat tire shuffle, is making sure you come in on the offbeat. That's how you're able to make it swing more. Even if I go really fast, I'm still going. I'm still coming on the offbeat. So even when you count them off, you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and did it. If you count off, you don't come in on the 1, you come in on the and the 4 before the 1. Again, if you're not number people, you're coming in a little bit before the downbeat. You're not coming in right on the downbeat, just slightly before on the swing. Simpler that way to phrase it. Last thing I want to cover is if we're soloing. Slap bass soloing is really cool and really showy. And it's a performance and it gets people's attention. It is not the same as like a banjo player playing some cool backup. That is what the banjo is made for. The bass in bluegrass is not made for solos. It is not the design of playing the bass. However, when it does happen, it's unexpected, it's cool, it's exciting. And people don't think it's going to happen until it does. And then they do, and they go, whoa, oh my God, he did that. So that's kind of the thing of like, when you take a bass solo, don't be surprised if people applaud. If you take a great bass solo, it's like, oh my God, he did it, he pulled it off, and I liked it. It's surprising, and it's actually a good solo. So you get doubled up. It's generally also just kind of the factor of being very bombastic with your bass solos sometimes. Because say I'm playing a basic tune, and I take a solo, and I go. That's cool, but it doesn't have the same pizzazz as going. That gets people's attention. Number one, it's loud. It's really loud. And number two, it gets people to say, oh my God, look at that over there. You're only playing that solo maybe 5% of the entire song if you get a solo at all. Make it count. It's got to count. You cannot waste your energy. You cannot waste your effort. If you're going to get a bass solo, take a great bass solo that's bombastic and gets people's attention and is with immense amounts of intention. You got to mean everything you say to the instrument, everything you play, mean it. Now, because of that, here's some things that I do in my solos that are very bombastic that I think are great for a bass solo. I do what's called a drop triplet a lot, which is the same thing as doing the flat tire shuffle, except for I'm adding in the palm, not just the fingers. Think of like a blues drummer in a blues band, and they go shh, and the big flam, shh, da. That's it. Da, da, and they do snare, snare, kick, da. That's what we're doing. We're doing snare, snare, kick. So when I'm doing that, I might do it into a downbeat. So say I'm walking. I do and then I might also do the actual drop, which is, I just said I was going to play it. I didn't play it. There it is. That right there is one of my favorite things to do into a downbeat. And doing that into a downbeat gives it intention. It makes the downbeat push. It makes the downbeat matter. So do it on a chord change. In that case, I do it when I'm playing on the 1 in G and I go to the 4th, the C chord. I do it right on the C chord, on the first note of the C chord. And I'm playing a C, of course. Basically, that's my number one thing for bass solos. My number two thing for bass solos is keep time, but drive it. Drive the entire song through the bass solo. Because people are not going to know what happens during a bass solo if they're not prepared. If they try to stop time and they try to do big hits for you, you need to drive them through those hits while doing a creative solo. It's not fair, it's not easy, it's just what it is, and you got to do it. Because or else it all falls apart. Your solo sounds bad, the backup players sound bad, the song might fall apart entirely. So number one, Don't mess up a stop time during the bass solo. Number two, if you do mess it up, save it. The way to not mess it up is to just keep really solid time and drive through the whole song. Keep the feel pushing. Don't rush, but keep the feel pushing. If you do mess it up, here's what I do. Almost every song in bluegrass goes 1, 5, or that's not a good way to play it. 1, 5, 1. If I do that 1, 5, 1, if I lose the solo, I can just stop, and then I'll do 2, and I'll go 1, 5, 1. And then probably something flashy at the end, like a G run or something like a Shaving Haircut. Shaving Haircut 2 bits. I'll do something to get the band going back into the song, because it is inevitable. You will take a bass solo, you will mess it up a few times. That is just reality. Do not be ashamed. It is fine. No one really cares that much other than other bass players or people who are going to judge you either way. They're going to judge you if you play good, they're going to judge you if you're not. Don't worry about it. If you take a bass solo, if you lose the time, if the stop time loses the time, it might not be your fault. You still got to fix it. Do that. Do the stop time with them. Do. Make them find the time. So number one tool for bass solos is the drop triplet. Number two is, that's the other thing, is getting the time solved. The third thing I do for bass solos is just contrast. You got to make sure your solos don't sound the same as everything else you're playing behind everyone else. That's a style, people do it. It works well for traditional stuff. If you get a bass solo on a really traditional tune, say you're playing like a Bill Monroe tune, and people are playing it like it was Bill Monroe playing it, do not take a crazy, maybe don't even take a slap bass solo at all. Or if you do, play a really simple walking slap bass solo actually don't do any triplets. Just do like the basic flat tire shuffle for the entire solo. However, in most bluegrass, outside of like true traditional bluegrass, if it's like mashy or swingy at all, contrast. Start with something that is so different than everything else you played. So if I'm taking a solo, here's the 5, and I start. Do something flashy, get their attention. And that's what I'm going to show you, is those triplets I was playing that. That's the same thing as the shuffle, just sped up. Crazy sped up. Doing the train beat or the country shuffle. That's the same movement. Palm, slap, palm, fingers. Slap, palm, fingers. I'm just going, I can't even say it that fast. Slap, palm, fingers, slap, palm, fingers. It's just ridiculously fast. I sucked at it when I started. It took me 6 months to learn how to do it. It does not click like that. When you get it, it's a great tool to have. The main thing, the reason I'm teaching this in order from the fundamentals that are easier to the harder stuff, is because once you get the fundamentals, it all stacks on top of what you already know with slap bass. Once you have the basic slap, you can add in more complex stuff. I'm still learning some of like the really crazy norteño slap stuff. I would show it to you, but I can't play it yet. And that's the thing, is we don't use that in bluegrass, but it's a good skill to have. And I can use the stuff I already know, all the crazy fast triplets and drop triplets and swings, to learn that stuff. But if I didn't know all the other stuff I already know, all the way from the 2-feel up to the crazy fast solo stuff, if I didn't know that, I couldn't learn the other stuff. So to end this out, I just want to say, start with the basic stuff, start slow, play with a metronome. If you can't play with a metronome, that's okay. But at least play with something, a recording, another friend, a metronome if you can, no pressure. And just slowly, play a slow tune. Play like the simplest tune you know at like maybe 60 beats per minute. And just, it's gonna feel weird and bad, but that'll help you learn to get the slap smooth. And don't do the crazy stuff, do the simple. Do the simple, and then slowly, maybe a month, maybe like start on the 1st of the month. Say we're doing this at the end of June. So the 1st of July, I'm gonna learn one slap bass thing. And then the next August. Say in August, you're going to learn how to do the shuffle. And then after that, September, I know my calendar, you're going to do the next thing after that. And you're just slowly add everything. And that is just the thing with this is it doesn't come at once. It comes slowly and progressively, and it builds on top of it stacks on top. It builds on top of whatever you just learned before it. So I really appreciate coming to my workshop. I'm very grateful for all the support. If you need anything from me, I have my phone number and my email on the pamphlet I gave you. I'm assuming you have the pamphlet because that's how you got this video. If you need anything from me, if I can help at all, if you have any questions about bass or slap bass or music or I don't know, what else do I know about? Cooking. I cook. Anything I can help with, reach out to me. I'm happy to set up a video call sometimes. We can talk about technique. We can talk about strings or basses or whatever nerd stuff you want to talk about. I love it too. I'm really grateful, again, I know I mentioned this in the workshop, for all the people who supported me to come and do this. This is my first workshop I'm teaching with a CBA. So thank you for everyone who vouched for me and supported me along the way. And thank you mostly to y'all for coming out to the workshop and learning and enjoying, I hope, learning to play slap bass. Take care.